Good day, and once again, welcome to our lecture series on fingerprint or personal identification. Today is June 11, 2020, and our topic for discussion for today is focused on the classification formula. Now, the classification formula, of course, we have different system of classification starting from the system of Vusitek, from the system of Henry, and then we have the digital classification using the IAFI system and that of the NCIC system. However, for today, we will be focusing only on the classification formula that was introduced by no less than Sir Edward Richard Henry. To give you a background before we discuss on the Henry system of classification, uh, to give you an idea, the Henry system or the Henry classification system allows for the logical categorization of the 10 fingerprint records into primary groupings based on the fingerprint pattern types that we have earlier discussed. This particular system reduces the effort necessary to search large number of fingerprint records by classifying fingerprint records according to their gross physiological characteristics. So just try to imagine if you will be searching for 1 million from a 1 million fingerprint cards and you will be searching for one particular person, then it would be very difficult. One thing that you need to remember, however, under this Henry system is that the Henry system cannot be used for individualization, considering the fact that the Henry system of classification is only intended for purposes of manual searching or for filing purposes. Okay, so that you could store the fingerprint cards in a logical order, it is but important that the classification formula needs to be uh, identified or established. Okay, so the Henry system basically assigns each finger a number according to their order in which it is located in the hand. So logically, it would begin with the right thumb as finger number one, and your left little finger as your finger number 10. Now, before any classification would be arrived at, the fingers are also given corresponding value depending on as to whether a whirl appears on any of the fingers. Okay, so the first two finger number one and number two, okay, speaking of the right thumb and right index finger, so basically they are given a value of 16. Finger number three and number four will be given a value of 8. 5 and 6 will be given a value of 4. 7 and 8 will be given a value of 2. And finger 9 and number 10 will be given the value of 1. Okay? This corresponding value is assigned for the purpose of using them during the primary classification. Now, in as far as the Henry system, okay, take note that the original Henry system only involved four divisions, but then eventually, because of the FBI extension, okay, they added two more, making it okay, six divisions. But before any classification could be arrived at, it is but important that we have to remember these terms: the core, the delta, the type lines, the pattern area, the divergence, the convergence, the bifurcation, sufficient or recurving ridge, because these are all important in the determination of the characteristics that we wanted to identify. Okay, and the moment that these are identified, we would be using them in arriving at the classification formula. Okay, so some important terms to remember. Okay, these are basically being asked in our board examination. Okay, so the first one is that we have the word classification. So classification, as a general term, okay, is the process of grouping things into groups or grouping things into division so that you could easily locate them. There's no problem in as far as names are concerned because you can arrange them alphabetically, and if you arrange the name alphabetically, that is basically an example of classification. Now, for purposes of fingerprints, classification is the process of obtaining a formula for a set of fingerprint pattern, okay? And as we have made mentioned earlier, it will serve as basis of filing them in the filing cabinet so that we could initially or we could easily search for them or locate them the moment that we need those records. Okay? And then the classification formula is, of course, the combination of all the patterns appearing in our 10 prints. Okay, you might as well be asking, what if I have an extra finger? Well, of course, extra fingers, okay, are not included in the classification. The problem, however, is that what if you have a lacking finger, meaning okay, one of your fingers is missing, it is by reason of birth or by reason of birth defects, or simply they were amputated during your lifetime for that matter. So in those cases, we have rules for that and we'll be discussing them later. Okay, so in as far as the classification is concerned, okay, the fingerprint card that is shown, okay, on your screens, okay, shows the location of the classification formula. Okay, so the classification formula that is being shown here, gentlemen and ladies, will be our basis, as I have made mention, in filing this particular fingerprint card. So imagine we have 1 million, okay? So merong dapat kalagyan itong fingerprint card na ito. Okay, and you will also notice that there are figures, there are numbers, there are letters that is indicated on top of each of the finger blocks. Okay, so we need this information. This refers to the ridge tracing or either the ridge counting of, okay, the whirls and that of the loop. And then below, you can see there are certain symbols also that is written here. Okay, these are what we refer to as the blocking symbols. Okay, now filing. Okay, so filing after you have arrived or after you have derived the classification formula, as we have made mention earlier. So it is but important that you will be able to file them so that you could easily retrieve them the moment that you will be needing them in the future. Okay, and of course, after they have been filed, okay, and you will be looking for them, that process is referred to as searching. Okay, so searching is the attempt to locate in the file, okay, a print that is identical to the current print and thus establish identification. Now, before the age of technology, wherein we need to do things manually. Okay, so in order for us to learn whether or not a person has some sort of criminal record, this is the process. So way back in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, if you will be applying for a police clearance, NBI clearance for that matter, it will take you a very long period of time because they have to look for a fingerprint formula that is similar to yours in the fingerprint file to know whether or not you have a previous criminal offending or you have previous criminal records. Okay, so the steps in the classification, there are four basic steps in classification. Of course, recording. So when we say recording, that is the process from which you will obtain, okay, the fingerprint impression of a person and record them in the fingerprint card. So after recording, okay, the fingerprint technician will have to interpret these patterns. Okay, so the fingerprint technician will have to name them and, of course, assign the corresponding values, okay, for this particular pattern. And then after which, okay, you do the blocking, okay, from which you are going to designate the symbol assigned for each pattern. And for the so-called blocking, we have some rules to follow. After which, we are going to classify them. Okay, so after we interpreted, we identified the pattern. Okay, we conducted blocking. We conducted ridge counting or ridge tracing in cases of loops and whirls. Then we are now ready to perform the classification process. Okay, so again, the first step here is blocking. So blocking is the process of writing below each fingerprint pattern the corresponding symbol for its name. Now, there are several symbols that are being used. So the symbols that we use is that in cases of plain arc, we use the symbol A. Tented arc is capital letter T. Okay, radial loop. Okay, if it appears on our index fingers, then we indicate either, okay, the capital letter R or the capital letter U. That is in cases of loops and if they appear on our index fingers. However, if they appear, okay, in your other fingers, including your thumb, you have to use, okay, either the left slant or the right slant, just simply following the direction of the flow of the looping ridges. Okay, so in cases of radial loop appearing on your right hand, okay, you are going to make use of the left slant. However, the left slant, if it appears on your left hand, then definitely it is intended for the ulnar loop. And then, of course, the capital letter W for the plain whirl. However, if it appears, okay, on the index fingers, you have to specify the type of whirl, whether it is central pocket loop, okay, double loop, or an accidental pattern. So that, okay, if, okay, the whirl pattern appears in any of your finger except the index finger, any variations of whirl, you have to make use of the symbol W. No need for you to specify the specific type of pattern. Take note that in this illustration, okay, we are making use of all the capital letters, and these capital letters, gentlemen and ladies, is being used only for the index fingers. And for the other fingers, other digits of your hand, we use small letter A for plain arc, small letter T for tented arc, and the slants for loops, and all variations of whirls, we are going to make use of the symbol W. Okay, and if the finger is amputated, then basically we have to indicate in the box intended for the fingerprint the letters or the abbreviation AMP, which stands for amputated. Okay. So in as far as this is concerned, if you can if you will notice, okay, the encircled part here is the blocking. Okay, so blocking ang nangyari diyan. Okay, if you can notice, okay, WW lang diyan, capital natin diyan. Okay? And then above them, okay, above these symbols, okay, above the blocking, okay, meron ding naka-indicate diyan sa taas, okay, which is basically intended, okay, to indicate the ridge count in cases of loops and the ridge tracings in cases of whirls. Okay, you might notice, sir, paano naman yung arc? Okay, since arches cannot be given any further classification, for the classification formula, we will only make use of the dash. Okay, so division of the fingerprint classification, as I have mentioned, we have 6. We have the primary classification, followed by secondary classification, subsecondary classification, the major classification, final classification, or K classification. Take note that in this lecture, I am interchangeably using classification with that of division. Okay? So under secondary classification, okay, we have two subgroups. We have there the secondary classification by capital letter group, which is intended for our index fingers only, and the small letter groups intended for the other digits of our hands. Okay? So for us to understand further, okay, so this is how the fingerprint classification based on the Henry system would appear on the fingerprint card. Okay? So the first division to be derived will be the primary. Okay? So since the primary is the first to be derived, it does not mean that it has to be placed on the extreme left. So there are specific placements, okay, for these particular patterns. Okay? So the primary classification, okay, it involves the whirl patterns of all the fingers. And then we have there the secondary classification later. Meron tayong capital letters and then meron tayong small letters. Okay? And then we also have there the subsecondary classification. For the subsecondary classification, we only focus our attention on the index fingers, middle fingers, and the ring fingers, excluding the thumb and the little fingers because they are used somewhere else. And then, of course, we have there the major classification. Okay, it involves the thumbs only, thumbs of both hands. We have there the final classification or final division involving the little fingers only. And then we have there the K classification, okay, that involves the ridge count of the first loop, okay, appearing on the set of fingerprint card. And then, of course, the small letter group. Okay, so under the original Henry system, as I have made mention, there are only 4 divisions: the primary, the secondary, the subsecondary, and the final. So the FBI added 2. We have there the major and the K classification. That is why, okay, our system that we are using nowadays is the Henry system with, okay, FBI and NBI extensions. So ito, meron pang pangatlo na dinagdag si FBI but it is seldom used. Okay, the second subsecondary classification, and we will not include this topic in today's discussion. Okay, so the primary classification, it refers to the sum total of all the numerical values of whirls in its composite plus the arbitrary count of 1/1. Speaking of this primary division, okay, so the primary division is the summation of all the values of whirl type patterns, as we have made mentioned a while back, that we are going to assign a numbered value of 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1 on all our fingers, okay, the moment that there are, okay, whirls that arrive. Okay, so the sum of the odd-fingered values is placed in the denominator, and the sum of the even fingers, okay, are calculated and placed on the numerator of the fraction. Okay, so the value of 1 is added to each sum of the whirls so that there will be a maximum obtainable value, okay, of the fraction at 32. So meaning that when all your fingers, including your thumb, okay, has whirls in them, then the value of your primary will be 32/32. However, if the value of your primary classification is 1/1, then it would mean that there are no whirls, okay, to be found anywhere in the fingerprint card or in the 10th print card. Okay, because if the pattern is non-whirl, then they are automatically given the value of 0. And if all patterns are non-whirl, then okay, the value of the primary is 1/1 because of the arbitrary count of 1/1. Okay, so steps in the primary classification, pairing, of course. Okay, pairing, first pair, as I have made mention, the first two finger number 1 and number 2, okay, will be the first pair, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. And then after pairing them, we assign now the corresponding number values that we have established a while ago. Okay, the first pair being 16, okay, until the last pair being 1. Okay, we sum up the numbers. Okay, even fingers, numerator, add numbers, denominator, and then of course adding the pre-established arbitrary count of 1/1. Okay, so that's the illustration. This is what we call as pairing. So after pairing, we now assign the corresponding number value. Okay, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. And then we are going to designate now their placement, whether they are numerators or denominators. So even fingered or even numbered fingers, okay, they will be placed in the numerator, and that is, okay, the right index, right ring, left thumb, left middle finger, and left little finger, and of course, okay, the rest will be the denominators. Okay, so an illustration is that if you are going to take a closer look, okay, so those are the pairs. Okay, we assign the numbered values. Okay, so after assigning the numbered values, if they are whirl, we give the value. If they are non-whirl, then we don't give the corresponding value. So in this case, if you are going to consider the finger number 2 here is radial loop. And since it is not a whirl, we give it a value of 0. Finger number 4 is a whirl, and we give it a value of 8, and so on and so forth. So that if we are going to sum them up, okay, if we are going to sum them up, the value would be 12/1. However, the 12/1 is not yet, okay, our primary, but rather, okay, we should not forget to add the arbitrary count of 1/1 so that our primary division would be equal to 13/12. Okay, so that is for our, okay, primary classification. Okay, and then of course we have there the secondary classification. So the secondary classification is the provision of the corresponding letter symbols for the indexes of both hands for the capital letter group and the rest of the digits for the small letter group. Now for the capital letter group, okay, it is the exhibition of the capital. Take note of the term, the capital, meaning the big letters. Okay, big letter symbols of A, T, R, U, W, C, D, X, okay, corresponding to the 8th type of fingerprint pattern, okay, appearing on the indexes of our hands. So the index finger appearing on your right hand will serve as the numerator, and the index finger appearing on the left hand will serve as your denominator. Okay, so in this case, of course, understandably, after arriving with the with our primary, which is 17/19, so our secondary by capital letter group will be W over C, whirl over central pocket loop whirl. Okay, so that is our secondary. Okay, and then of course we also have the small letter group. In the small letter group, Okay, it is the exhibition of the small letters A, T in R, okay, representing plain arc, tented arc, and radial loop. Now, the reason why the ATR group is being used, okay, for purposes of the small letter group of the secondary classification is precisely because, okay, ito yung pinakamadalang or they rarely appear, okay, in the fingerprint card. So, meaning that the higher chances, okay, that your fingerprints or the combination of your fingerprints are a little bit unique. It is easier to locate in the fingerprint card because of these, okay, rare fingerprints appearing on your 10 print card. So the same rule, just like the capital letter group, okay. So the digits or this ATR group appearing on your right hand will appear in the numerator, and those appearing in the left hand will be used for the denominator. Take note that if the ATR group appears on the thumb, then it should be written before the capital letter. If they appear, okay, after the index finger, then it should be written according to their order of appearance in our, okay, their order of appearance, meaning, okay, we will be talking about the middle finger, the ring finger, and that of the little finger, and it should be written after the capital letter group. For illustration, considering this pattern, since there are no whirs appearing on this fingerprint pattern, of course, lagyan muna natin siya ng primary. So the primary here is 1/1 because there are no whirs. And our capital letter group will be A over T. And then we have here plain arc before the index finger. So it was written before the capital letter group. So a small letter A. And then after the index finger, we have another plain arc here. So we indicate we have written it immediately after the index finger or the capital letter group. And then on the denominator, we also have T or tented arc appearing on the middle finger. So definitely we have to write it immediately after the, okay, capital letter group. Another illustration, okay? No whirs, primary is 1/1, okay? And then tented arc appearing before the index finger, so it should be written before the capital letter group, and so on and so forth. And then we have the subsecondary classification. So remember a while back, I have made mention that you have to indicate the ridge counts and the ridge tracings, okay, on the upper right corner of the block or of the box indicated for intended for the fingerprint. Okay, so we need to conduct the ridge counting for loops, and then of course ridge tracing for whirs. For ridge tracing, we could automatically identify their corresponding symbol, whether they are inner, meeting, or outer. Please refer to the previous discussion. Okay. Arches, on the other hand, okay, as we have made mention, they have no corresponding value for that matter. So we will just be using dash to represent them. However, you have to consider that in the subsecondary classification, we are only using fingerprints appearing on our index fingers, middle fingers, and ring fingers. Okay, so we are only using three. Okay, the index, the middle, and the ring fingers. And the fingers appearing on our right hand will serve as the numerator. Those appearing in the left hand will be used as a denominator. Okay? So that, okay, for the purposes of loops and for purposes of the subsecondary classification, okay, if the loops appear on our index finger, okay, then we have to consider the number of the ridge counts. If the number of ridge count is 1 to 9, then we are going to give them the symbol of I, meaning inner. And if it is 10 and above, it will be given the symbol O, okay, for outer. And for the middle fingers, 1 to 10, inner, 11 and above, outer. For the ring fingers, 1 to 13, inner, 14 and above is outer. Illustration. So granting that in this instance, okay, what we are looking here are all loops. Okay, so that since they are all loops, okay, we always start with the primary. So our primary here will be 1 over 1 in the absence of, okay, in the absence of a word. Okay, so 1 over 1, and then of course radial loop over another radial loop. Okay, and then of course 12, since we are talking about the index finger, okay, index finger 1 to 9 inclusive, and of course 10 and above outer. So 12 is above 9, so that is given the symbol O, meaning outer, and then 9, okay, that is uh, inner, so we give it a value of I. And then for the middle finger, the value here for inner is 1 to 10, so that it is given the value of inner, 8 inner. And for our ring finger, the value of the ring finger is 1 to 13 inner. Okay, so that, okay, since we have 14 ridge counts here, we indicate here outer instead. Okay, so OIO over I. Outer, inner, outer over inner, inner, inner. So that is our subsecondary classification. Another illustration, o may horse na tayo. So do the mental counting. Okay. So what we are looking here is a primary of 5 over 21. Okay. And of course, our secondary, we do not have the small letter group here because there are no ATR group. So what appears here is only, okay, uh, in the index finger for the capital letter groups, an ulnar loop and a radial loop. So U over R. Okay, 1 to 9 inclusive. So for the index finger, that is inner over outer. Middle finger 1 to 10 inclusive, so that is outer over inner. And then for the ring finger 1 to 13 inclusive, so that is inner over outer. So after deriving the if we're talking about, of course, the whorls, meron din tayong whorl subsecondary, so we only make use of the ridge tracing that we have earlier established. Okay, so in this case, so this is our classification up to subsecondary. Combinations of loops and whorls. Take note, the rule does not change. For as long as the loops appear, we always use the, okay, values for the index, the middle, and the ring. For the whorl, it does not matter because we will only be using the symbols inner meeting outer. Okay? So in this illustration, yun, we are only interested on those digits. Okay? So if you are going to consider, that is our index fingers. Okay, 12. That is 12. That is outer over meeting. Okay, because the left index finger is a whorl, and then outer over inner for our ring fingers. Okay. That is another example. By the way, if you have some questions, you wanted to know more about the classification, feel free to comment down your queries on the comment box. Okay, so we have here the major division. For the major division, as we have made mentioned, we are only interested, okay, in the fingerprint pattern appearing on our thumb. If the pattern appearing on our thumb are loops, then we make use of the symbols small, medium, and large. If the patterns are whirl, then we make use of the ridge tracings with the symbol inner, meeting, or outer, depending on the tracing that we have done earlier. Again, we are only making use of thumb in the absence of a loop pattern or a whirl pattern. Okay, we use dash, especially in cases of arches. Okay, so the right hand, the right thumb is the numerator, and the left thumb will serve as the denominator. Okay, so in cases of which both thumb are loops, then there are two tables that we are going to make use. Take note that our primary consideration in the loop major division is that, okay, if both thumbs are loop, we always prioritize the left thumb. Okay, we always prioritize the left thumb, so that if the left thumb is given the value of small and medium, meaning that the number of ridge count is 16 or less, then we will use this table, the same table, for our right thumb. Okay, so I would like to repeat. If the left thumb has 16 or less ridge counts, then the same table will be used for the right thumb. However, if the left thumb is given the symbol L, meaning it has 17 or more ridges, then, okay, for the right thumb, we are going to make use of the second table. So 1 to 17 for small, 18 to 22 medium, and 23 and above large. Okay, still giving them the corresponding symbol of small, medium, and large. Nagbabago po ito, gentlemen and ladies, depending on the symbol for the left thumb. Okay, so for the left thumb in the major division, again, okay, this will set the tone, okay, for the right thumb. So again, if the left thumb is given the value of small or medium, you still use this table for the right thumb. If the left thumb, okay, is given the value of large, okay, meaning it has 17 or more ridges, then, okay, we are going to, okay, use the second table. Illustrations. Yan. In this case, okay, our major here, since we are going to prioritize the left thumb, so the left thumb has a denominator of medium, therefore we use the first table for the right thumb. So the right thumb will be large, so that our major division here will be large over medium. Okay? So in this illustration, large over medium tayo. Okay? Another illustration. Okay, so in this case, since we prioritize the left thumb and the left thumb has 17 or more ridges, we give it a value of large. Okay? However, for the right thumb, since our left thumb is given the symbol L, meaning it has 17 or more ridges, so we are going to make use of the first table for the right thumb, meaning 1 to 17 will be given the designation of small. Therefore, our right thumb is given the symbol S instead of the symbol M. Okay? Kasi ang ginamit natin ngayon sa right thumb is the second table and not the first table. Okay, another illustration. In this case naman, wala tayong nakitang whirl. So, pag walang whirl sa thumb, no problem. Okay? Mas madali. Because if that is whirl, we just make use of the ridge tracings. So in this case, yan, meeting over inner. Okay, no further classification required. We just copy the designation, or we just copy the designated ridge trace. Okay, so in this case, our major here is outer, or yes, outer over meeting. Yun. Combination of loop and whirl pattern. Okay, so if that is a combination of loop and whirl pattern, if loops appear, you only use table 1, and in cases of whirls, you just use the designated, okay, ridge trace. So in this case, okay, understandably, okay, we are going to make use of medium over large as our major division. Yeah. Okay, so please practice more. Okay, you can do your own problem, and then you can solve it yourself just the same. Okay, another illustration. Yan. Large over outer. Okay, table 1 pa rin yung ginamit natin dito sa right thumb. Okay, because again, applicable lang yung table 2 if both, okay, thumbs are loops. Okay, and then we have the final and K classification. So the final classification pertains to the ridge count of the loops and whirls on the little fingers of both hands. And if there are no loops and whirls, then okay, and the pattern appear are arches, then it will be represented by a dash. So the right hand will be, the right little finger will be the numerator, and the left little finger will serve as your denominator. Okay, just indicate the number of ridge count. Take note that what we are talking here is a ridge count of loops and whirls. So the question that you might ask is that, are we going to ridge count a whirl? Because in the earlier discussion, okay, whirls are only subject for ridge tracing. Okay, so that in this case, okay, if whirls appear on our little finger, we are going to ridge count them. But the question is, how do we ridge count a whirl? So a whirl is ridge counted by considering it simply as an ulnar loop. Okay, consider it as an ulnar loop, so that you would know what delta you are going to use in, okay, the conduct of ridge counting. Okay, so in this case, 12 over 11. So what is our ridge count or a final classification? You just copy the number of ridge count, 12 over 11. Okay? So in this illustration, yan, 12 over 11 siya. Okay? As simple as that. Just copy the number. Another illustration, yan, 16 over 15. Okay? You just copied. Okay? You just copied it. Okay? K classification. It is the ridge count of the first loop pattern appearing on the fingerprint card, except the two little fingers. Take note that in the K classification, it is always written on the numerator line, regardless of what hand the loop was found, and it is always written rather on the extreme left of the numerator line. The extreme left of the numerator line immediately beside the major division. Okay, so in this case, okay, the first loop is the thumb. Therefore, our K classification will be 17, again written on the numerator line. Oh, so that's it. The final is 11 over 12. Your key is 17 because it is the first loop. Okay, so if the first loop, let's say for example, all the fingers on your from finger 1 to finger 6 are all whirls, then definitely we are going to make use of this as our K division, and it should be written here on the numerator line. Okay. What if the fingers are amputated? Okay. So if one finger is amputated, okay, it will automatically assume the characteristic of the opposite finger. If both, okay, are amputated, then, okay, both fingers, let's say for example, both thumbs are amputated, then both thumbs are given the automatic classification of plain whirl with meeting tracing. Okay, so in this illustration, the index finger is given the value of whirl outer. Okay, just like this one. In the case of the ring fingers, it will be given a classification of whirl meeting because both are amputated. Okay. So if you have some questions, gentlemen and ladies, please feel free to download or comment down your questions on the comment section of this video. Good day, everyone, and watch out for the questions that will be uploaded later for your self-assessment. Thank you for listening.